Yo, 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 Real Ones here, coming at you live with our new song.
That's a basic gist of what you can expect on voting day, right?
Well,
Muscle boys. Sorry.
I'm so sensitive and I need to talk about this.
This is what's greatly affecting me this week, and I need to tell someone else.
Somewhere in the ether is where we are.
Yeah, so somewhere in the ether is where we are.
Nothing is real. We're all in a dream anyways.
Seriously.
Try again. No. Okay, cool.
Hey, what's up out there to everyone who is using their voice to vote? My name is Richard.
Hey, patriotic babes. My name is Nick, and welcome to Routine Progress.
Routine Progress, that's right, a podcast where we discuss the difficult and desirable things that you all want to hear about.
Yes, we give you the real shit, the real tea, but we do it in a really cool way.
We give you all the hard information in a way that doesn't suck so bad.
Yeah.
We're able to do that because Nick and I are not exactly experts.
Not exactly, no. We're just here on a journey to better ourselves and the world around us.
That's right, and we plan on doing that through deeper conversations.
And reason-based logic.
And just all around good vibes, because that is what the world needs this week and going forward. It's just good vibes, period.
Honestly, we're doing this today because we all need the vibes on top of the vibes.
It's true. Honestly, when Nick and I met to talk about what we would discuss this week, we kind of felt a little obligated to talk about voting, and yeah, that's where we are this week. It's the main event is upon us.
This is the main event. All of that. So yeah, for our issues today, we're going to be giving you the real tea on the voting election and all the stuff you can possibly expect, and hopefully how to not take it too hard. And after that, we'll be diving into our cultural review of the day, which is a respite from all the political drama, which is music.
Yeah, we get to talk about some good music this week. We're going to tell you guys what we're listening to. And just share what we've been playing lately.
Exactly. And then, of course, like always, at the very end, we're going to go back and forth and tell you what we're on one about.
Oh, what about? Okay, so yeah, that's where we are. I think that we should, I think before we dive into what voting day is going to look like and thereafter, Nick, I think we should let everyone know where we stand right now as of today. Today is November 2nd, by the way.
It's literally the day before. It's election eve here on recording session.
Yeah.
And I mean, we already have 94 million votes coming already in for this election, which is record breaking, which is honestly very reassuring in a lot of ways. And
it is. I hope that 94 million kills a lot of the election conspiracies that are floating around there. But either way, before we even dive into that, shout out to the 94 million. Nick and I are in the pack with you. We both had to do mail-in ballots. So like, yo, shout out to y'all. That's historic. That's major.
Yeah, we're killing it, America. And we're expected to have still record-breaking in-person votes. I think they say something around like 150, 160 million minimum, which is great. 137 million total voted in 2016. So we're going to well surpass that, which only adds to the importance of this election.
Yeah. And as intense as it is and as much seriousness as there is around this election cycle, I hope everyone is as like excited and as motivated as I am to get out there and make a change. Like, this is historic. We get to be a part of history again with this year. So yeah, it's exciting. And I hope everyone's kind of like motivated to just get out there and do what you have to do, man.
I look forward to the day when everyone votes, or majority of people are voting. So let's just dive into kind of like the most important part, I think, for those who haven't voted, which is making a plan to vote if you're voting in person.
When I say have a plan, what matters most to me is really just making this entire process like tolerable for yourself, right? Like I've had to vote before, and the long lines is, again, especially with the record-breaking numbers that we have this year, maybe it's important to vote with other people, bring a couple friends along with you, so the whole process is not as like awful as it could be. Just make it as comfortable as possible for yourself. We are living in the year of COVID in 2020, so I would say bring a mask, maybe some hand sanitizer if you need to. Bring any supporting documents you may need, and bring your patients with you as well. We know that this is going to be a historic turnout, and that's something to be celebrated. So just come with the best mind frame if you can.
Totally. And I mean, when I say thinking of a plan to vote, I say just take a couple minutes and just Google everything you need to know, like your polling place, your registration.
So I know a lot of different transportation apps in certain cities are offering discounted rides to polls. So if that needs to be a part of your process as well, definitely look that up, because there are options to make sure we get there so you can make sure your voice is heard.
Download a couple shows on your phone. So if you need something to watch while you're waiting, in case there is a long line, I've heard of delivery services now that are delivering pizza.
I know that it's important to stay away from political wear. Sometimes that can get you turned away from polls. That includes your MAGA hats, your Black Lives Matter shirts and material, all of that. Just do what you can do to stay away from being deterred or being distracted.
Michelle Obama said, bring a lunch and bring a dinner. Like, don't let anything deter you. Like, get focused and just make it happen.
Remember what your goal is. Remember that you're going to use your voice and have your voice be heard. And stay focused, man. Don't get dragged down into any of this weird election day drama that's being put out into the atmosphere. There are no excuses this year. We won't be taking those. So do your research, man. Make your plan and do what you have to do to get out there.
Yeah. Moral of the story is, if you're sitting around being like, I'm not going to do it because of this, that, or the other. No, none acceptable. No, not this year. So once we all vote, then there's like this whole thing of what the fuck is going to happen?
Woo, yeah. I think one important rule just off top is to remember to not be discouraged or distracted, right? And that includes what you do yourself as well, governing yourself.
We have a couple weeks before even the final results will be officially determined. So just don't let anything over stress you about any like crazy stuff they're trying to put out there.
It's like anything else that happens in life, man. The more negativity you give to it, the more it's actually going to exist, right?
Totally. I mean, my whole motto is just hope for the best and prepare for the worst. I mean, a lot of stuff is going to happen. Like, a lot of stuff is going to happen. I think in terms of what I'm expecting, I think I'm preparing myself for Donald Trump's main plan, which is to claim victory if he's up at the polls at any time on election night, because he's already claiming today that he wants to have, he said we should have a result by midnight on election day, which is it's never been done like that. Not true. Fake news.
Yeah, he just wants to ignore a bunch of American voices. Like, if we're being literal about this thing, right? He wants to wait until the point where it looks like he's winning and then say, oh, we're done. This is the votes have been counted, in my opinion. So I won. But that's not real. That's not how it works now. Historically, that's not how it's ever worked. And we just have to remember we're in an election year where mail-in ballots are going to be higher than ever. All of that combined is going to take a little more time. And it may not be as immediate of a response as we want to. It may not be as long as, it may not take as long as some people think either.
Trust the institutions, right? Like, I think I read 1/5 of Americans believe that this is going to be a free and fair election. And there's a lot of real reasons for that, right? But at the same time, the more like confidence and trust we can just give to these people that do this every 4 years, every other year for other votes, like, they've done this before. This is not a new thing. And there's 0.0025% of actual voter fraud in the history of any election. And that's just attempts, not even fulfilled voter fraud. So there's no proof whatsoever. And it pisses me off that Donald Trump has made this an issue when it's not an issue.
Yeah, so just prepare yourself for his stunts, tricks, and gags, because they're gonna last literally until hopefully he walks out of the White House. So just brace yourself, man, to ignore the foolishness.
If I could put in the clown emoji right now, I would just put clown emoji like right into the screen.
Ooh, I'm just sitting here thinking, like, honestly, that middle ground process if Donald Trump loses is going to be a long 70 plus, however many days that is, man. It's going to be, ooh.
Right. I mean, and that's why it's like, it's good to talk about it now to mentally prepare ourselves that it's just going to be an onslaught. This guy is unfortunately one of the most energetic people in the way that he attacks verbally in the media. So it just kind of brace yourself and again, tune out when you need to tune out. Cool. So now let's just put that to bed. Let's let that go and let's move on to our cultural review of the day.
Cultural review. Bow, 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 bow.
Bam.
Yeah, so we are going to just take a quick left turn from all of the things that we feel a little obligated to cover at the moment and talk
purposefully, because this is like the other side.
Yeah, I would say it's the other side. So music is something that Nick and I for the longest time now have bonded over. So it feels really good to be able to open this conversation up with you guys.
Yeah, this is hopefully to give you what to do when you're not looking at the political world. So this is some recommendations from us of what we're enjoying right now to help you get some respite from all this political bullshit.
Some a little bit of what to play while you're standing in line to vote. I'll start us off. I really have been listening to a lot of Ty Dolla $ign's new album lately. Ty Dolla $ign is a multi-talented rapper, singer, producer, known very well in the hip hop and R&B community. His new album is called Featuring Ty Dolla $ign, which I think is super dope because it's a play on kind of an ongoing joke that he's only good when he's on a feature. And I just think it's really clever to play into your own joke in that way and, sort of make light of a situation that's being thrown at you. But
I think honestly, it's like a proof that he's a good artist if he's been featured on so many albums anyway. So it's really, I think and we love a self-aware person. So it's like, I think it's really smart that he marketed it in that way.
I fuck with it. I really fuck with it. We stand a self-aware king.
I
was reading, one of my favorite things about him too is that he plays like 30 different instruments, and people who have that sort of mind frame, it's just like, I look at them as being on a different level mentally. You know what I mean?
So if you can do that, like you're it, man. You are it.
Yeah, absolutely. So he, if you guys want to check his album out, he's got some really dope features. He's got a Nicki Minaj feature. He's got a Big Sean feature. Jhené Aiko. He has a really dope song with Skrillex. And all of his stuff is really eclectic, really instrument driven. So if you're into that sort of like real music sound, definitely check his album out.
Nice.
Yeah, for sure. Outside of that, this one, I don't know why I set this precedent for myself that like people would not expect me to listen to these young ladies, but I have been listening to Chloe and Halle's album on rotation for a minute now. Yo,
tell me, for those who don't know who those people are, who's Chloe and Halle?
I know why niggas asking me that. It's because I always describe them as like perfect little Beyonce angel babies or something like that. Because
she birthed them, right? They're her babies.
Yo, seriously. For those of you that don't know, Chloe and Halle started their career being signed to, a pinnacle of their career was being signed to Beyonce's Parkwood Entertainment, which we've had an opportunity now to see them, kind of mold and grow. And it isn't until now with this album, this Ungodly Hour album, that I was like, wait a second, they can really sing, and they're like really cool, and they produce a lot of this stuff, and they write the majority of their own music and the melodies. And I'll tell you what really got me hooked, quite honestly. Like during the pandemic, a lot of artists have been forced to sort of self-produce their own live performances. And I guarantee you, if you go to whatever platform you use to look up your favorite musical artist, and you look up any live performance that Chloe and Halle have done within the past like 6 months, they kill it like every single time. And I'm just like hooked into what they're doing now. You know what I mean? They're so cool.
I mean, I'm here for it. I'm totally gonna check them out more.
They got a couple bangers on there. Some of my favorite are, they have a title track called Busy Boy. the title track Ungodly Hour. Oh, and the Do It remix. They have a song called Do It, and there's a remix to it that has like so many female rappers on it. I think it features Mulatto, City Girls, Doja Cat. There's someone else on there too, but Doja I've been really into too. So it was really cool to hear her on the Do It remix, and she really did her thing. So
Love Doja.
yeah, they've got some good like the whole vibe of the Chloe and how the Ungodly Hour album is like early '90s R&B. So everything sort of feels like a bop, and it's really really good dance music for sure.
Love that.
Also,
Love that. Oh, great. So,
put us on. What are you listening to, Nick?
so on my end of the spectrum,
Not to cut him off, but just to let you guys know that Nick also admitted to me earlier that he's been listening to mostly classical music lately.
it's true. I mean, the
So
majority
shout out to Bach.
shout out to Chopin, to Chopin. No, but really though, if you don't know this fact, listening to 30 minutes of classical music does the same things to your brain as taking a Valium. So if you're ever feeling uber stressed and you need to like naturally calm yourself down, just put on like a playlist of classical music and just do some yoga or something, because it will totally help. I promise you. So that is my kind of like day to day, like when I'm doing work, put on classical music type of vibe. But when I'm trying to like jam out and like have some fun, you know, I did check out Ari's new album. I mean, full disclosure, I am an Ari stan of many years.
The
am.
voice of a generation.
I truly am. And so I was very excited to see it. If you haven't checked it out, I would just check it out because it's like literally quintessential pop culture. Like when she first released it on Friday, it was top 10. Every single song in the album was top of the charts from 1 through 10 all the way down. So in that way, it's just, I don't know. I think it's a commentary on just what we value in our influence in music and stuff. And it's really important to, not important, I mean, whatever, it's music, but like, I don't know, it's cool to check out stuff like that.
Yo, people went nuts about that Positions video too.
Yeah, well, I mean, again, what I love about Ari is that she's just such a unique personality in the pop culture. Like she's kind of demure and she's kind of like a princess looking, but she also is kind of like a badass bitch in a lot of ways, and like doesn't give a fuck, and like is so like doing her own thing. Like the pop Positions video, it's like there's a whole like cabinet meeting where it's like queer people, you know, standing there. She's like the president, and it's just like a fun imagination journey. And she's always pushing her little agenda of her vibes and what she's feeling in the world. So I really appreciate that. And the album itself, I mean, the way I would describe it is just like it's a mature version of her, like mature in every way, because she is maturing as a human and her sound is kind of getting more and more specific. This is like a very quintessential R&B pop kind of like vibe out album, which any song in the album you can just put on and kind of like get comfortable with. But she's also mature and she's opening up more about her sexuality in a lot of the
I love that
in the song. So like you're getting a little bit more of a raw version of how she connects to her sexuality, which again, it's like someone who lives in the public spotlight, like, yeah, like opening yourself up that way can be pretty vulnerable, and I'm here for it.
People for the longest time have like put her in the box where if she even mentions the word sex, everyone around gets highly uncomfortable because she's like the perfect little Nickelodeon darling girl, like Pat Valentine, whatever it was, you know. But you can't hold her in that box forever, man.
Yeah, so it's like this is another journey of hers to open up, and I do think it's the most, again, mature kind of album she's put out in a long time. And she wrote some of the music on this one too, which I don't know if she did on the other ones, but just the fact that she's like branching out and really making her voice more hers is really cool. So definitely take a listen. And again, it's a bop. Every song's a bop.
All right, we stand the ponytail princess for sure.
We stan. And then to stay in this corner for one more minute, I have to go off on Blackpink for a second. Yeah, if you don't know about Blackpink is a K-pop group that is now branched out into full global like positioning. I found them very organically. I found them through Lady Gaga's new album, Sour Candy. And then they had some TikTok song go viral with How I Like That. And then I found their new album. And then I watched the documentary on Netflix, which just made me fall in love with them. Like, honestly, they all have these like unique cultural like differences, but they're put together in a K-pop group. So what they do is they have that quintessential, like, this is je ne sais quoi about what makes them so cool. And not only that, but they're beautiful people. Like their interviews, they're so down to earth. They're so genuine. They just want to do like, one of them was just like, I just want to make a big impact and do good in the world. And like, they're just so like good like that. And I really, if I know an artist is like a good person, it makes me just love them, their art so much more. Um,
Yo, first of all, you know that I'm very much invested in the idea of K-pop farms, so I'm gonna need to find like some sort of documentary that takes a deep dive into K-pop farms, so I can really understand the process of what goes on there. Because I'm invested.
They spend like 2 to 7 years in these places, but they just perform all day, making their vibe better, getting more training, getting better, perfecting their art.
I love it.
So it's, yeah, I stand. So those are my 2 recommendations for where to go to when you need a break from the real world.
Turn off CNN, turn off Fox News, and put on a fucking playlist and vibe out, man.
Yeah, have a dance.
Vibe out now.
Vibe out now, and we'll add that to the playlist.
We'll add that number 1 Billboard hit to the playlist for you as well. Check it out.
Vibe out now.
Coming straight to you from the real boys.
Yo. Cool, man. So hope that helps as well.
Yo, are we at my favorite part?
We are at my favorite part.
Yeah.
Woo, woo, woo. What are you on what about?
Yo, this is honestly one of my favorite parts of what we do. We get to tell you guys what we are on one about this week. And as always, as we say every time, this is episode 3 now, so those of you who've been tuning in, I'm sure you know. We may think we know what we're on one about at the beginning of the week, but it is ever changing. This week, though, I'm on one in a very good way about a young, beautiful, stunning, highly intelligent young woman. I believe her name is pronounced Kiesha Garbell. And Kiesha, if I pronounced that wrong, please forgive me, Queen. I just want to salute you right now. Kiesha had a video go viral earlier this week. She went into her Board of Police Commissioners meeting in Kansas City. And when I tell you, she just went into that room and eloquently and also very strongly and a dash of ratchetly proceeded to drag everybody in the room. I mean, she completely read them their rights. Now, what I love about this, right, on one level is that it represents what we all need to be doing. And that, I mean, by that, I mean going into your local community meetings, whether it's a town hall meeting, city hall meeting, board of electors, whatever it is, look up these meetings when they're occurring and go make your voice heard. Now that we're having this huge presidential race upon us, is not the only time that you need to be using your voice. And in fact, if you really want your community to reflect your way of thinking, your way of life, or for the positive and for the better, then you need to be showing up in these boardrooms and in these meetings the same way that Kiesha did. Now, I will say the other part that I really love about it is that she held nothing back. She went into that room. She told them like, hey, I'm not here to be nice. So if you're looking for that, wrong bitch. And then she told them about themselves for a good, like 15 minutes, man. And you can look at this and a lot of people could say, well, what about civil discourse? And I do understand that narrative, right? But you can tell this young woman had been in these meetings with these same people before and they haven't been listening. So civil discourse is out of the window. And sometimes you just have to drag people. Now, before I get off of it, I will say, just so people know, her passion and her reaction going into that meeting, she's been protesting the lack of police response in relation to the murder of a young man. His name is Donnie Sanders. He was shot and killed by police. The police say he was armed. I don't know if that's true or not, but I will say that murder happened on the same day that Breonna Taylor was murdered by police. So this young woman has been fighting this fight for a while now. So that passion that you see and the rage that you see and the way that she tells the police board there to not use young Black men as photo opportunities, because it's nice to take pictures with them eating cookies and drinking milk now, but they become suspects in red t-shirts later. All of that shit is so valid. So shout out to you, Kiesha. You did your thing, baby girl. Like, salute to you. You're a fucking warrior, and everyone should be taking notes. That's what I'm on one about.
We
so
stand.
Nick, yo, seriously.
We stand, honestly. Yeah, I watched the video too, and she is a good example of just making yourself heard.
She's a boss ass bitch.
And a self-aware bitch too, because she starts off and
Yeah.
she's like, I'm just want to let you know I'm here. I'm not here to be nice. I'm here to read you all.
I'm here to read you. That's the only reason I'm here.
Yeah.
All right, so Nick, it's gotten to that point. You get to tell everybody, let me know, what are you on one about this week, baby boy?
Okay. Here we go. So one of the very strange things that I do, but also habits that I have a couple times a week, is I go through right-wing Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube, and I try to see what the cult is saying, because I need to understand. And while it's very informative, it is also very heart-wrenching. And what I find is just tribalistic anger, fear, and misinformation. And I leave thinking, how am I supposed to get through to these people? And I think the problem is just as I think they're crazy, they think my side is just as crazy because of what they see and what we're seeing. So what I'm on one about is understanding that about us all, that we're all getting biased news, because it's not their fault. They're getting indoctrinated into this media circuit through algorithms, through their own lives, and they have no idea what's on the other side. So we have to be aware that that's not only happening to them, but it's happening to us in some circumstances. And we have to be aware that when we're talking to people, that we have to learn how to create space for information to come together. And if we don't do that, this is why we have a potential civil war fear in the world. This is why we have the most extreme politics we've ever had, that each side thinks the other is an existential threat. And that's not normal. And this is a product of our own doing. So what I'm on one about is none of us being self-aware enough to realize that we are being indoctrinated through media all the time, and all this stuff is curated to you specifically. So next time you see an article that you think is going to get you excited, check yourself before you fall deeper into that negative pit of anger, fear, extremism, and try to lift other people up around you to say, where are you getting your information from? Why do you think that? Let's have a conversation about this, which is what we're doing here. And I'm sick and tired of just talking to people like they're an idiot or like they're evil, because no one is evil. No one, I mean, some people are idiots, but we have to educate them. That's the thing. We have to reach out to help educate people and help bring people up, especially if you have a loved one who is locked in a QAnon cult or is convinced of all these conspiracy theories that are just not true on any side, right? On right or left. And we need to fix this, because it's either going to break and we're going to have violence, or we're going to fix it. And I really hope it's the latter.
Absolutely, man. Like, if I always say, if you're getting all of your information from one side of the spectrum, then you're not fully informed. And to not be fully informed implies an innate ignorance. So if you want to be ignorant, that's a choice. But you could also choose to inform yourself, which involves being well-rounded.
And going outside of your bubble too, because it takes effort nowadays to go outside of that. And we all have to be cognizant of doing stuff like that.
100%.
Whew, okay, I feel better now.
You feel better now that that's off you?
Oh God, I just had to get that off my chest.
Yo, but you got to prepare. There's about to be so much extremist bullshit within the next week where we're going to have to call each other and be like, yo, don't you pay attention to that shit.
That's what I mean, though. Yeah, we all have to be on alert, on guard for all this stuff, especially more so in the next couple of months, moving up into the inauguration day.
Truly.
So I mean, like, we got this, guys. I truly believe that we got this, and it's up to you out there.
It's up to you
to be the one.
Yeah. I will say, just really quickly as we round out this episode, I'd be remiss not to mention my great-great-grandfather. His name is Lamar Ditney Smith, if you want to check out his Wikipedia page. He was a great man who spent his life, the later part of his life, fighting for Black voter rights, and making sure that Black people in the South and Mississippi specifically exercise their right to vote. He was actually killed by 3 white men in Brookhaven, Mississippi, when he was registering fellow Black people to vote and to help them pass the required test that they needed to take to vote at the time. And yeah, I guess the community around him did not like that so much, but it means a lot to me to bring that up and to say his name. There's also a short documentary about him called Murder in Black and White. It's pretty old. It's from the from the 90s, but if you have some time, check that out. And I just want to say his name to keep it alive and to let you all know that for some people, voting is a very personal responsibility, and it should be that personal for all of us. You shouldn't have to be so deeply connected to be able to exercise that right. So I just wanted to say his name and make sure it was out there, and in my own way, let him know how much I love and appreciate what he's done for me to be able to sit in front of you all right now and do what I'm doing and to exercise my right. So much respect and much love to him. And if just that's a little more motivation, even if you needed it, to get out there and use your voice.
Well said, Richard. Honestly, very beautiful said. And we thank your grandfather for his service, honestly. So if you're out there and you haven't voted yet, there's a reason to vote. Vote for someone who died for our right to vote. Vote for someone you love. Vote for someone who loves you. Just fucking vote.
Just do it, man. It's like you said, that Nike slogan, just do it.
The best slogan ever created for a product. Nike, just fucking do it.
All right, now, as always, if you all have made it this far, Nick and I would like to thank you for tuning in to the 3rd episode and voting special for Routine Progress. Any informational sources you might need to reference what we discussed today, any links that you may need to access material that we talked about today, you can find that in the description box below.
We can't thank you enough for joining us, listening to us. And if you are appreciating what we're giving out, please like, comment, subscribe across all platforms that you're listening or watching on. And now in our bio, we have an option to donate, support us financially. We are a self-funded podcast here. So every little bit that you can possibly donate, I think the minimum is $1 a month, would really, really mean a lot to us, and it will only help us bring you better and better content.
That's right. So again, thanks for tuning in, you all. And as always, stay informed.
And stay real.
Bye.
Adios, bitches.
Go drink and vote, bitches.
Put on your jams and vote the town away. Get in, loser. We're saving democracy.
Get in, loser. We're shifting things at the White House.
Get in, loser. We're voting out a tyrant.
Seriously, bro.
We're not joking.
We're not fucking joking.
This is not a joke.
We're coming to your house if you don't vote.
I know where you. We're getting your information as you watch us, and we're gonna find you.
All right, we're taking it, sir.
Don't let them know the truth.